What's happening, everyone? It's time to crank it.
Yeah, and hey, you know what? If you think you get my go to that, man, he gets my go, this kid, man. He gets my go.
All right, we're back. This is a huge and monumental episode for us.
Huge and monumental.
This is the 10th episode. We've made it to double digits. Congratulations.
Thanks. Look at how young I look.
Compared to the first episode, you've de-aged.
Yeah, I just caught my image there. Like that's a healthy looking 35-year-old.
You
didn't expect it, considering how often that I get pilled up and go on my podcast and talk about wrestling. Oh wait, that's the other guy.
Why don't you let your facial hair grow and you can look as old as I do?
No, I've got a few gray hairs here, if you can see.
Sneaks up on you.
That's the length it's going.
But thanks to manscaped.com, I don't have any gray hairs below the belt. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but what is it? The code you could use is HEL20.
Yeah, hello 20 is a good one to use for sure. Which
is also what I said to the girl that I killed last night.
All right, so I listened to an episode yesterday of one of my favorite shows, Inspired with Christopher.
Oof.
Yeah, he had a very special guest on. He had a very special guest, the one and only Johnny Podcasting.
How'd he get him?
He got him.
This is sure to break his recent download records.
Yeah.
Oh, he bragged. He definitely bragged about breaking records. So we're going to hear that. So we're not going to do the whole episode this time. I've taken upon myself to cut out some clips.
Very nice.
Yeah. I mean, it was like a 2-hour episode.
And that was just all Christopher trying to introduce the thing.
Wait, I forgot we can't make fun of stutters. It's very hateful.
Yeah.
No, we can, because I sometimes get a nervous stammer, so it's okay.
As long as you say it's okay, yeah. It's like me with the cross eye. When I say that lazy eyes are cool, so.
I do have to hand it to Pastor Chris. He's got probably the best production value on that network or brand or whatever you want to call it. He always starts off with a nice cold open.
He does.
Yeah, it's always different. It's probably something very meaningful to him. He doesn't just put on a AC/DC instrumental track at 5% volume and then talk over that. He puts his time and effort into it. So good job, Pastor Chris.
Well, in his defense, he's probably got some really good equipment from all the money that he got from his fake injury. What would we call them? Begging? Is that or charity scams?
Pleading. I wonder what he does. I wonder what he does use actually. I heard someone told me that John jumped on the StreamYard train when he heard other people were using it. So maybe those guys use StreamYard now. I don't know.
Hopefully, jump on the train tracks next. Gosh. What's the parody account that Chris Martin has? Is it else?
I just saw it for the first time.
Yeah, it just followed me yesterday. Let me see.
Charlatan something.
Charlatan H. Martino.
Yeah, and it's I am CHM 811. That's great.
That's hilarious. He's a dickhead. He's an arsehole. He's a nerd.
And
he has hair like a girl.
He does have really. He's going to be the stronger podcaster today, though, from what I hear.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, the one thing that I will be honest about is that at least he fucking has a plan when he records.
Yeah.
And you can tell that he actually does when he's doing the show. He's like, today I'm going to talk about how much my back hurts so that I can get money, or my wife's cunt, or whatever the problem was that time.
Today on Inspired with Christopher, Jesus hates abortion.
Yeah. Did you know that I'm not a Trump guy? It's like, who gives a fuck, you good girl hair?
I'll say this though, even though it's mostly a burial show or a parody, if you will. When you forced me onto the show, when Durbin just randomly called me, I'm like, what the hell is going on here? Hello? Chris was an all right interviewer. I'll give him that. That'll be my compliment for today.
And that was right off, that was off the cuff. Like, he didn't plan on having you on, but he was ready for you. He thought of questions pretty quickly, and
but that's a fine job. It's not something that we'll do on this show, but I'd imagine if you go back and listen to that, I explained to him very thoroughly what's going on with the fake downloads and all this, and it just goes in one ear and out the other. And that was a year ago.
We'll have to go back and do that episode too.
Yeah.
The thing about Chris that drives me fucking mad is that because I've seen his video live streams, and he does this thing what I call it Chris Jericho face. Now, if you've ever seen Chris Jericho act in a TV show or a goddamn major motion picture, there, man, he can't act for some reason. So when he does a face, he'll say something like, Jesus is here to help you. And that's what Chris Martin keeps doing constantly. It's like, you people don't know, but John Wangland gets me a lot of downloads. Yeah, why don't you go tag Killer Cross?
Yes.
All right.
I'm ready for the audio gold.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm gonna if John Wangland is a figgot because he likes toys, then because Chris Martin keeps tagging so many people, he's a taggot.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, the figgot and the taggot. There's your title for the show.
He doesn't tag Chris Jericho anymore, though.
No.
Why's that then?
Full circle.
Ironically, if you look at the background, Mike Durban there has a toy of Prince Adam, who of course was known as He-Man.
Mhm.
But we're about to record from a queen who talks as their man.
All right. This is the 8/16/20 edition of Inspired with Christopher. It's on the Wrestling with Reality feed.
Yeah, one feed.
And Johnny Podcasting talks about how great it is to have one feed in this clip. So this is a little bit of the intro. Here we go.
So, Mr. Johnny Podcasting, Mr. Johnny Wangland, brother, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, man, but Johnny Podcasting is retired. The reality check is no more. We are here on our feed here together. We're having fun, man. That's what it's all about. It has been a hot minute, and I'm excited to be here with you, man. We haven't done a show in a little bit, and I'm really glad to be here with you, bro.
That's just how I start. Well, it's like Husey just said, yeah, he is a motivator, and it does take a certain amount of linguistic ability to convince someone that a pile of shit is a bowl of chocolate ice cream. And I mean, that's just like, we're way better off with this. No, you're not way better off than when you were with Spreaker and had sponsors here and there and claimed to be in the top 25 podcasts in the world. And, this in no way is this a step forward. It's a step back, but by treating it like a step forward, it's very amusing to me. So
it's like
he's pushing forward.
It's like somebody getting out of jail saying, I wanted to be put on the sex offenders list. Like, I don't want to walk past schools anyway. I like meeting all the neighbors, and I don't want them to like me back. Failure is fun. But the problem with this whole thing, why is he called Johnny Podcasting?
Well, Johnny Podcasting's retired because he made it up. He decided that was his nickname, and he forced everyone to call him that. But now he's just John Wangland. Johnny Podcasting might come back, he said, though.
Do you want to know what my nickname is?
Husey?
Yeah, because my name is Hughes, and I would go out a lot with my friends, socialize, and drink a lot. So it rhymes. Johnny Podcasting means he stays in a lot. If he was a fucking knight, he would be called Sir Sit In a Lot. Know what I'm saying?
Have you ever heard the nickname?
Yeah, it's such a ridiculous fucking name. Johnny Podcasting. There, man. And, oh, my God. I see, here's the problem that I have with Wangland. He bothers me on so many levels. I think he's weird. I think he's an unusually dull person. And it's his actual voice fucking drives me mad. It's like James Corden, only American and totally manly. And by manly, I meant manly as in, what's his name? Sonny Bono. Or not, Chaz Bono. Fuck, never mind.
Thank you, man. Thank you. And I'm glad to have you. And I'm sorry with the whole Johnny Podcast thing. It's a habit. It's a terrible habit.
It is a habit. I know. But we're moving onwards and upwards into other good avenues for us here together. So that's the fun of it.
Yes, sir. And I
have this one question for him that I'd love to talk to him to ask. Just go, hi.
Yeah, where? That's what I was thinking. We're going to these new avenues. Where?
Yeah, but it's very good for me, Joe, Like, how is it good for you? And what, this is actually bad for all three of you. Like, even what's the Sunny Salem?
Yeah.
She does the Impact show.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for her, that's not a bad idea because Impact recently has been on quite a popularity rise, and apparently the rates are going up. So all her downloads or attention she gets now gets spread out. So she could have this massive hit show that now goes to Inspired by the Suicide Squad or whatever the fuck they're called.
Right. So no one gets credit for their own downloads or work, and I guess that's the plan, to put three shows together, and they all get 196 downloads maybe. So then you have 600, and then you still don't make any money.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Now, the weird thing about Chris boasting about how they, how Inspired broke records with one of his recent episodes. Joe, we mentioned off air that he had me and you on a show, and I guarantee you that had more downloads.
Oh, that went through the roof, of course.
Yeah, but bigger than that, though, he had Brad Shepard on, a guy with a massive audience, an actual name in the wrestling journalism industry, and he was on Chris's show.
You think
you're telling me that Chris's hometown friend, his buddy, is some conspiracy guy, had more downloads than Brad Shepard?
I would assume that Chris was told that.
Yes,
not that that's what he found out. Like, he's like, "Hey, great news there for you, Chris. Your last episode it had 77 million downloads there, man. Was that the one where I talked about killing myself?" It's like, yeah, that's what the kids like these days, there, man.
I heard Chris might sign a deal with Spotify, not unlike Joe Rogan. So that's how successful he's been lately.
Good on him.
All right, so this next clip is Johnny podcasting and Chris talking about breaking records.
Well, are they going to teach us how to live life to the fullest today?
Oh.
Right as we get into it for this episode, something I do want to say is that, like, my past two shows, like the one that's about to come out, it's super exciting. And like the previous show with my good brother Nick Brazise, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Mr. Nick Brazise and myself, we set a record for the most downloaded episode of Inspired with Christopher in history. And for all the listeners out there, thank you so much. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. And with that being the most downloaded show ever for my show, that's telling me that we're doing something right and that we are going in the right direction. So to everybody out there, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Can you open up Christopher's YouTube page? Because the last time I remember seeing that, he had something like 6 subscribers.
I thought the exact same thing that I thought before when Chris says it just shows me they're going in the right direction. Where?
Yeah.
Where, though? Where? 30 more downloads? All right, great. That's 30 more downloads. But what is the direction? Is the goal just fun now? I don't know. That's what they told us at the beginning, right? When they ended Reality Check, now it's just to have fun. So
it's the thing that I don't understand. When they make these boasts and says, "Oh, we've got great stuff in the works, great stuff happening," like, name one.
Yeah, name one thing.
Inspired with Christopher YouTube has 6 subscribers and roughly between 20 and 30 views for each video.
There he is doing that Jericho face. But why does he boast about it? Because I remember seeing one of these YouTube videos where he goes, "All the subscribers and the comments, it's been overwhelming." It's like, that overwhelms you?
My favorite ones are when he starts talking about an important life issue and someone in the background's like, "Christopher, get back to the stock room."
Yeah. "Hey, boy, clean up them bags of cement there, girl hair."
The next clip is John and Chris talking about the new Taskmaster show on the Creative Control Network.
Hey, what the fuck? Mind your business.
And surprisingly, John actually congratulates you on it, and he's looking forward to listening to this new show.
101 with Just Incredible, correct?
Yeah, that's going to be it. Good for them, man. Like, those guys are really good, really hard workers. John, I've never had a chance to talk to him or anything, but I've heard he's a very nice guy from you and other people. Chad's a great guy. He's a really wonderful guy. And I've had the opportunity to actually hang out with Chad and meet him. So we hung out last summer. We met up in Arlington, Virginia. I was at an MMA show with Dan Severn.
No. No, you weren't. You probably. Oh, by the way, I meant to tell you. Last summer, I don't know if I ever brought this up. I was at this down in Ireland. I was hanging out with Lars Ulrich, James Hetfield, Kurt Hammett, and the other one. Now, to be fair, I had to buy a ticket, and I was standing in the crowd, and I never actually get to meet them personally. But I was with them last summer. That's the logic from old Johnny podcasting here.
How come no one ever heard of this before? How come he didn't post any pictures? How come he didn't talk about it on any shows? Like, I'm not saying 100% that this didn't happen. I'm just saying that it doesn't fall in line with his normal pattern of behavior. There would have been a picture. There would have been those two doing, like I have an awesome picture with Dan Severn myself. A picture just like that saying, coming soon, Real Skies in the Room. Because if it was last summer, that's before the show existed. So here's what happened. Severn was at a show. John paid for a picture and an autograph, or maybe not a picture because he doesn't even have one. Yeah. And that's probably when he approached Dan about the idea in person at this show. That's now what I've deduced. But this is the thing where I'm thinking, is it because I can't imagine that if you're a wrestling fan on the level that he is, like I've paid to meet wrestlers. I met Bret Hart last year or something. Yeah. I find it strange that Wingeling doesn't have shitloads of photographs of him with wrestlers. Yeah. So either he's lying about this or no, just that he's lying.
And I met Chad over there. He's a really awesome guy. And what they're doing on their feed is tremendous over on the two-man Power Trip Empire. And it couldn't happen to two nicer guys. And they have a great lineup and really, really, really good stuff they're doing. I would definitely – I need to check out more of it, listening to it.
Joe, have him block Wanged online.
Johnny Paz?
Yeah. It's more like Johnny Blocking.
Yeah, and you know what? The only thing I'll say before we continue is that, these guys, their accomplishments right now is probably what John wanted. Johnny Paz has a show with Sullivan over on Creative Control. He does shows with the brand, right? I think with Francine. He also has a show with Dutch Mantel on MLW. He has a show with Just Incredible somewhere. So this guy's getting around. He's working with everybody. He does shows with wrestlers. I know I did meet him in Philadelphia, I believe, and he got me a drop from Shane Douglas for keeping it 100. I didn't realize that till later because I'm a big shot. I don't remember people's names. But, so that's exactly where John probably wanted to be and could have, like I always say, it's a tragic, tragic tale. Could have been if he wouldn't have tried the goofy, I'm going to fight with everyone and put out weird podcasts where I insult everyone route. So he could be the two-man Power Trip if he would have.
But the other issue there is that John Paz is actually good.
He is
at podcasting. He really is. He doesn't put out these ridiculously shit shows. Like it's really shit on a level that has to be heard to be disturbed, and that's why John Paz is the real Johnny podcasting.
Yeah, he is right now. He does more shows than I do. He does more shows than not Conrad, but.
Haven't been able to listen much lately, and then good for John too, and good for Feeney for picking up Kevin Sullivan there. I haven't listened to the show, but I will definitely have to check that out too, because good for them. John's a talented guy, Kevin's an interesting guy, and I'm sure Joe will put out a great show over there for that with them every week. I'm sure they already are, so good for them. That's gonna be a great listen for people too.
Wow,
this is like some strategic move to try to get us to stop.
Yeah.
Not the first or last positive thing he's going to say in this show. Although, as we've discussed privately, he'll say nice things about me or apologize. He'll say things about Mike occasionally or apologize. But Husey never gets
yeah.
He hates Husey. He hates us. but he hates.
There's never been a compliment sandwich for Husey. Husey just gets the meat. He doesn't get the bread on the outside. He gets the meat, which is the insult and the hatred. He gets no.
You know what the bread on Husey's compliment sandwich was? He gets some good guests.
Yeah.
That was it. That was it.
Do you think? Why do you think that is? Do you think I make him feel bad about himself?
I think that you kind of started. You started the podcast war, and I guess he just he focuses on you because you were the first one to start doing it, and then I jumped in, and then that's when things started going sour. But I think maybe he blames you because you were the first one to fuck with him.
All right, this one I'm not even going to give a description. This is a very serious moment, so let's just listen and learn.
So there is a national suicide hotline, which I swear to God, I sound like a complete moron right now because I cannot think of the phone number. But please Google it.
That's not why he sounds like a complete moron.
Oh man, I hope there was no one with a razor to their wrist. Like, he doesn't even know the number.
Hey there, man. Have you ever tried to slit your wrist with a razor, Ramon?
If I was him, I'd get that fucking number tattooed on the inside of my wrist, just in case.
So let me work it out this way here, there, man. If I call the suicide hotline, do I get to speak to the guy from Impact Wrestling there, man?
The suicide hotline number. There are people that you can talk to if you're feeling sad, suicidal, and you need help.
1-800-273-8255.
Is that how many downloads he just ordered from India?
Listen to the way John says it. He says it so it's very sad.
Need help.
1-800-273-8255.
His audio is brutal too, but
yeah.
That'd be great if he looked up the wrong number and it was like Cincinnati Reds sports merchandise order line.
Yeah, like, what the hell? I'm trying to shift these NWO shirts. People keep telling me they missed their ex-wife.
Want to kill themselves.
This is the worst birthday ever.
And then
there you go, the National Suicide Hotline. So please step up, speak out.
Okay, is this the suicide hotline? I'd like to talk about I've been forced to listen to this incredibly shit podcast. It happens happens every 7 days around the weekend.
The person answering would go, "Oh, you mean wrestling with reality? Oh yeah, we get a lot of those calls."
Yes, we're going to put you in the queue. Thanks for listening. And then the listening song is what, Stranglehold?
Oh. Here's the main event for the show. This is something I didn't think would come this soon. I'm not sure how genuine it is, but this is Johnny podcasting apologizing to none other than Joe Feeney. Did you ever think this would happen, Joe?
Yeah. We don't have to. We're going to listen, but I will already say it's fucking far too late.
Yeah, I haven't heard this, but I knew it was going to come because nothing that has been said about him, as I've said before, not to be old and redundant there, man, nothing that's been said about him is fake. Like, it's all true.
Oh, we got breaking news. We got breaking news here. Just popped up on my phone. There is a brand new episode of Wrestling with Reality. We may have to stay on and do this.
Oh, no.
Now, listen, I don't know why we didn't think of this idea before. We're three intelligent, creative people. Why didn't we think to do a SummerSlam 1989 watch-along? Hulk Hogan and Brutus Beefcake versus Macho Man and Zeus.
Ugh.
That's a great idea because that's such an obscure match. That'll have a lot of listeners because, everybody wants to know what John Wangland has to say about Brutus Beefcake mixing it up with Zeus. Wouldn't it be fun to hear the way Wangland pronounces the word Zeus?
Zeus.
Yeah, so here's the
Beefcake.
Here's the episode notes. On this episode, we travel back in time to watch the main event of SummerSlam 1989.
Whoa. John Wangland has invented time travel? Woo. He really is the man.
Excellent.
The main event features Hulk Hogan and Brutus the Barber Beefcake versus Macho Man Randy Savage and Zeus. We have lots of fun on this episode and lots of background discussion on this match and the movie No Holds Barred.
Ugh. Who does it with him?
Thanks for listening and enjoy this fun episode.
See, I bet you they would have a lot of insight that we've never heard before because they have all this inside scoop that they've just found out themselves that hasn't already been said by Hogan, Macho, Beefcake Zeus, or Bruce Pritchard.
And the one and only infamous wrestling legend.
I got to see who the co-host is.
89. We are going to be watching the main event. Brother Brutus Beefcake, and Hulk Hogan versus the Macho Man, Randy Savage, and the one and only infamous wrestling legend himself, Zeus. So we're going to...
All right. I want you guys to guess who's the co-host on this.
It's
Jeff Tiny Lister.
Jeff Johnson.
I'm going to guess Mr. Maxon.
I'll go for Richie Reardon just for the...
Oh, that's a wild card.
Tonight, as always, I am joined by my co-host, Mr. Jeff Maxon. What's up, Mr. Maxon?
Oh my God. It's just prepping for this has been like, I don't know, what I imagine prepping for an enema is going to be like.
Oh, yeah.
Why? Because something's been shoved up your arse?
There's no surprise that this guy's just, imagining enemas or watching them.
All right. Well, thanks, John. Now we have something to do later this week.
Yeah.
Manna from Heaven.
Well, we still got to do the Conan after Conan got into that skirmish in Mexico. That's a good one.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think off the top of my head what else we have. Plus, someone DM'd me and said, hey, you have to do John's one where he has the friendly message for Vince Russo. And I was like, didn't we do that? And he's like, no, I don't think so because I'm hearing things I didn't hear before. I'm like, I thought we did that. I don't know.
Plus ham bone severed.
The ham bone ones, yeah.
Yeah. I think that's like a season finale. We got to build up to that one.
And I was thinking one of the creative controls we did, like 4th of July or something, the one with the Game of Thrones reference at the end, to open up that Husey asks, like, who would win in a fight between John Wangland and Mike Durbin? And Durbin, like, backs off. He's like, this guy's a special forces, blah, blah. And then John, I asked him what he did in the military, and he started to explain how he was bodyguards for, like, big shots and stuff. We should probably listen to that again to see what he said.
Yeah.
No, I think he was in charge of a screening of The Bodyguard. And he would sing the soundtrack to the boys.
Amir, I got to pat you guys down.
I get a run to you. I have nothing. Yeah, because he actually has nothing anymore. I have nothing apart from Zeus.
Ugh.
There, man.
All right. So we got sidebarred. So we got a little distracted, but here we are. Here's the apology. Joe, I want you to, are you ready for this, man?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. You haven't heard this before, right?
No.
Okay.
And John, before we go tonight, brother, what's your take on all this?
I agree, and I'll say first off, I'm a person that will admit faults, and I have said it before to somebody a few times, and it wasn't the right thing to do when I got angry at somebody that was trying to cut me down, and I used it to cut them back down once or twice, and it was the wrong way to do it. And hey, Mr. Feeney, I'll say it to him because I know they listen to all the shows. I know I did that.
They review our shows, actually.
What's that?
They review our shows. We should be honored.
Oh yeah, they do actually. I forgot about that. Oh yeah, he does. They love to review the shows. But hey, I'll say it right here.
You did not forget that we review your shows. Don't even try.
Yeah, Durbin, I was wondering, but why don't you tell me a little bit about your pro wrestling tees history and your Get My Go shirt? Tell us about what happened with that.
Yeah, this Get My Go shirt that I'm wearing right now, originally the plan was to have it on my Pro Wrestling Tee store. It was on there for about a day, and someone's feelings got hurt. He contacted Pro Wrestling Tees and said we were bullying him, so they pulled the shirt.
Yeah.
So
and it led to John's episode descriptions now that you could probably, I don't think you can see it in this one. It might only be when he does Wrestling with Reality, that now say below them, all content and logos property of Wrestling with Reality do not use without permission, which, I mean, that sounds good, but that's not actually how you get a trademark. You don't just write it down. I mean,
so,
and he didn't even put the little C there, the little R in the, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, he's definitely a C.
He's an R too.
Well, you know what? Pro Wrestling Tees is not the only T-shirt manufacturer in this world, so we got the shirts printed elsewhere. If you want one, DM me,
Yeah.
And, Chris Karam has one. The great Jay Baca has one. Derek Brooks has one. Joe Feeney, Mrs. Feeney has a shirt.
But
let me say so far before because we stopped the clip. The apology starts with a sandwich, and the sandwich is, I shouldn't have done this, but I did it because they started it. So this is not an apology at all. And with a disingenuous Mr. Feeney there, it's not a sincere apology. I'm already so.
Plus, he's starting off the apology with a lie.
Yeah, of course.
When Joe started stuff with me before, I picked on something with that right back to get back at it.
What the fuck kind of sentence is that? I got to hear that again.
When Joe started stuff with me before, I picked on something with that right back to get back at it in response. And you know what? That was a wrong thing to do. So I'll say that right off the bat. It's not something I typically do. So I apologize if I did that, Joe. I know you were very offended by it or whatever, but
you were offended by it or whatever.
Not so much. And I don't get picked on. We're grown-ups. We don't pick on each other, first off. So I don't agree with that. And B, I actually wasn't offended by it. The only thing I was offended by was the fact that you put yourself up as having a motivational show and being someone that works in counseling and whatnot. So for someone that does that to then go dirty and below the belt like that, it just that struck me wrong. Like if Husey was like, you depressed motherfucker, I wouldn't think twice about it, because Husey doesn't present himself as a therapist, So that's the only thing that really bothered me about it, was that it really wasn't, the way you presented your character went totally against it. So
No,
that's more what bothered me.
I presented myself as the rapist, not the therapist.
When last January, when John started threatening lawsuits and whatnot, I'm pretty sure everyone on this panel and people that weren't, and then under other Twitter handles, we had an email exchange, and it turned into like a little bit of an argument about who started it. And I said, you started it when you went way too personal and were coming out with bipolar comments and whatever. That may have been a time to go, listen, I'm sorry about that. And it could be a whole different world. But he didn't. He just kept arguing and talking shit and saying, he's going to send, papers to my house and whatever. So that would have been a chance to apologize. I actually might have accepted it then. But I certainly don't accept this disingenuous nonsense.
Nasty things being said, and it was a way I said it back. And you know what? It was a wrong thing to do, because I know I don't like it when people do that to me and other people too. And it's just a wrong thing to be. We all struggle, and we're all guilty some points of making a dig at somebody that struggles, and it's not the right way to do things. We're all human beings, and we make mistakes, and it's not the right way to do it. And it's sad to see people.
Yeah, but some of us don't fucking become ministers and do it.
There's a minister and a pastor on this show.
Wonder why the church is going bankrupt.
It's not the right way to do it. And it's sad to see people who consistently cut people down for those things. And doesn't make it right if you did it once or twice or a few times, or if you do it all the time. No matter when we do it, it's wrong. And it's something that we all need to learn how to be better at, and to do better is to not take those things that people struggle with, or their weaknesses or their flaws, and cut them down and do it. And it's something that all of us in life need to work on.
You need to work on getting better recording equipment. I can hear your fridge humming in the background louder than I can hear you talk. What do you think he is, in the toilet?
It's not good. There's something going on there. That sounds like he's in a freezer warehouse.
Maybe he's cleaning his figs that he got, the figgot.
Again, it's a problem, because it totally switches from I'd like to apologize, except this person did this to me, and we all need to be better. Like, he never individualizes the issues. It starts off, someone else started it, and then whatever he did, he only did because everyone else does it.
Can you believe he's a Democrat?
Well, exactly. We're all equal communists when it comes to the insult game, I guess.
Can't.
Doubt about it, because you never know if you do it to somebody too much, and then you'll really, maybe push them over the edge. And we all need to be better than that, myself included, you included. I think everybody out there can say the same thing. We all need to be better at that, and don't cut one another down all the time. It's normal to want to get retribution against somebody who wrongs you, or to fight back. Sometimes people can't take it anymore, but we need to be careful and choose our words better, and how we let that anger out. It's something we all as human beings need to do better. And I'm not just pinning this at other people or putting it on somebody else and saying we're holier than thou, because we're not. And we have made those poor choices too, and poor things. We all need to get better is what I really feel is we all need to not do those things.
I'm not pinning it on other people. We all need to get better. It's like, it really is like he's Harvey Dent and he gives 2 points of view at the same time. He's a contradictor.
Big time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with myself. I don't think I need to change.
Is it wise words from a wise man? I definitely think, yes, sir. And I definitely think you're correct on that. And ladies and gentlemen, with that said, one last thing. Once again, thank you so much for your love. Thank you so much for your support. We've been setting records lately, and it's been awesome. And you guys are the main reason why for it.
After that emotional apology, and then he had to fucking top it off with breaking records. He had to bring that back up.
This is exactly their problem to find. They can't not boast, and they don't understand yet that people know that it's all fake.
Yeah, and even when it's not, it's off-putting. Like if you do it too much, nobody likes a braggart.
Yeah, this Figgot Taggot with this braggart. It's disgusting.
And I just want to say that I'm blessed, honored, and I am just very, very grateful for you guys. So we're going to continue to give you great content. And I can't wait to see what the future has to offer for us going forward.
Well, what the future has to offer is pretty much whatever India's click farm rates are. Whether it's like 10,000 for $100 or whatever, I say Joe tries to sign Sonny Salem.
Did you ever watch Nurse Jackie?
The one starring Owen Wilson?
No, it was with what's her face?
Edie Falco.
Edie Falco, yeah. So on the show, she's a nurse with a pill addiction, and her first connection is the pharmacist at the hospital. But then they change the way where they count every pill or whatever, so she can't get them from him anymore. So she starts ordering them from another country or online. And her husband eventually finds the credit card statements where it's like fucking 400 hours a week on pills or whatever. I don't know how much it would be. How much could it be? I'm clueless. But I just that made me picture like when John's wife or whoever like found the credit card bill with all the Click Farm payments and the the YouTube views and the Twitter subscribers. Those things, paying for them, they're going to add up. I don't know how much downloads cost, but I don't think it costs too much to get Twitter subscribers. I don't know how much YouTube views cost, but certainly it would add up if you're doing it all the time. So, when you find a credit card bill and you're like, what is such and such in India Incorporated, and what the fuck are you spending money on? I can only imagine how well that went over. You're buying imaginary listeners? That's what you're doing right now?
And just really, really quick, for the people that are curious when it comes to bipolar manic issues, I struggled recently because of one thing.
This part is truly amazing. You know what? If Brother Martin made that final choice because of this, it would all be John's fault, because John put that fucking idea in his head that he was breaking records, okay? After he did that and boasted about it, he says people were emailing him or DMing him and saying that he was a liar, that wasn't true. So, John, you need to be careful what you tell Brother Martin, because something bad might happen.
And which I'm going to be honest with you guys. Small things, they can trigger me. And they can trigger me where that I can be very manic for a few days to a few hours to a few weeks. And the one thing that triggered me was the fact right after John gave me the great news that my show got record numbers.
There you go. But, right, that's exactly the thing. Brother Christopher doesn't know his numbers. He's being told.
Mm-hmm.
That's told me all I need to know. This is the new guy on the scene for Wangling to lie to, and to fill his stupid head full of shit. But I'm kind of glad that, because I don't like Chris Martin, and I think he's a dick who needs his haircut. And I'm just so glad that I heard that, because now we know it's all confirmed. Like, yeah, you did great numbers there, man.
Record numbers. And I shared it on Twitter. My message box got flooded with people saying that I was full of shit, and that I bought downloads, and things like that. And like, the honest truth is that I don't even know how to do that. And that right there,
I believe that. I believe that he has no idea how to do that. So this is not the fault of Brother Martin. This is somebody manipulating him and telling him lies.
Yeah, as much as I don't like Brother Martin, I don't think he would do it.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
We'll put it like this. If he doesn't even know how to edit a podcast, then he's not going to know how to fucking buy fake downloads.
It sounds like that's the situation with Rob too. Like, Rob didn't know. Rob thought he was getting huge numbers, and now he's on his own and he sees what he's really getting, you know? And he says he's happier. He's happier because it's like, all right, now I actually know where I stand, and I can work up from here. I can work off of this number rather than hurting my reputation by working off a phony number, telling everyone I'm doing 30,000 downloads, and I'm up there with Conrad and Austin, and of course, keeping it 100 with Conan, the greatest podcast known to man. And but then no one knows who I am, and no one's commenting on my shows. It just, that's what Husey said in the beginning when John would talk about the success that he was having and how the fans were going nuts. And Husey was the first one to point out, like, but where? No one's commenting on this on social media at all. That's a tell. It really is. So if you don't see anyone, you know, kicking up dust about a show, chances are it's not succeeding.
It was one of the things that set me down to a downward spiral. So people, it's something as simple as that could trigger somebody. So please be considerate of your words, because guess what? John had me on cloud 9 with that wonderful news, and then people, because they just want to be angry and hateful, they fucking knocked me off of that cloud, and they were burying me. And it's just not right. So please.
Because there's a smugness from you. And like I remember he asked me to be on his podcast.
Yeah.
And I said no. So then he asked me again immediately, and I said no, and he just kept going on. And it's like, no, I fucking don't want to talk to you. Like, I don't get asked to do podcasts often, and yours I definitely won't do.
I mean, Brother Martin, you know, you just said you boasted about it, and then you got knocked off cloud 9, and then it sent you into a tailspin. And on this episode, twice already you've boasted about it again. The lesson is to not boast about it.
Right.
Consider it and think before you speak, or think before you type, because there's so many people out there that are keyboard warriors that wouldn't have the balls to say it to somebody's face in real life. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen,
those are not your words, Brother Martin. Come on.
That was, yeah.
That's almost verbatim what the Figgot said. So that, like, it is almost like it was written down in text form, and fucking, this is like listening to Brian Wilson's therapist guy. Was his name Eugene Landy?
Yes.
Who fucking took control of him. It was like, now, Brian, you don't want that burger, do you? It's like, no.
He's not hungry.
Yeah, but I am hungry.
thank you so much for joining us tonight. Hopefully you were entertained, you were inspired, and most of all, what I pray is that you take something out of what we said, and you can better your life through it and with it. You can apply it. That's the word. So thank you so much. Mr. John Wangland, brother, thank you so much for joining me.
My pleasure, Chris. Thank you.
Yes, sir. And we're going to end this on a very positive note. Okay,
HIV positive.
We're not going to be like Beirut where things just explode. Okay, we're going to explode with joy and happiness, and which I'm praying for the people in Beirut. But good Lord, common sense should have took over about 20 years ago, like with the people that loaded that factory or whatever that building was. And we can
There's
talk
your
about
clip. That's the clip to make. Say,
Holy shit.
this is a pastor on an inspirational podcast, and this is I've had to edit out the 40 seconds where he tried to pronounce the word Beirut,
Yeah.
where he calls it, oh, they went to bury it. And there's your clip that you could just send out, and I can't wait for them to see how that's then taken out of context. I think those words were taken out of context.
B-I-root.
I think it's pretty good, though, that these positive thinkers just made fun of a bunch of children being burnt to death.
On our next show. But thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, guys. God bless you. And Mr. Ryan Cabrera, take us out with the ending inspired song of the week.
Well, that was definitely the podcast of the week, spelled W-E-A-K.
Woo. Well, usually I'd like to say at the end that we've learned some things, but I didn't learn anything this week. That was...
So you're saying you didn't accept that apology?
No, I don't accept that apology.
Yeah.
I would accept an apology in monetary form, however.
Oh.
So,
well, I wouldn't accept an apology in monetary form. I would just accept money.
Yeah.
But I think that the way that ended with him making fun of the Beirut people...
After that emotional part with the suicide hotline number,
the plea,
the plea, and then you're going to end by mocking a tragedy.
Right in front of positives, like, people say these horrible things there, man. Well, we don't make fun of fucking like national disasters like that.
If someone did that on my show, I would probably edit it out, and I would not release that part.
Yeah, for sure.
But nobody on that brand or network knows how to edit anything. So whatever they say just gets put out there.
For example, what do you call a guy who walked into the 9/11 building?
I don't know what.
Like, you just edit that. Yeah, there we go. Proof that Johnny podcasting is Johnny bad at podcasting.
Yeah, that was... His sound's awful, and he just got brutally outshined by Chris Martin.
Yeah. Can we say that word these days?
Outshined.
You know what? I'm going to get flagged on this episode because that AC/DC song was at the beginning under their intro. So
Hell's bells.
This will never be monetized. So we hope you enjoy it.
Yeah.
Punks. But yeah, that ending was, I think it's typical of them. If Langdon goes by his words, he'll be kicking Chris Martin off his one feed. Not that Martin should worry about it because he's doing record numbers.
Yeah.
Huge.
If I were to advise Brother Martin, I would go back to what you did in the beginning before all this. I think he was on Hipcast or one of those apps that puts out podcasts, but I would do that if I were you. Simplecast. I would do that, Brother Martin. Your achievements are your own. You don't have to depend on anybody. Whatever success you achieve, you know that you did it, and you did it for yourself, man.
Yeah, and I would also ask, if I was him, to see the download numbers, because it really sounds to me like he's just fallen for the exact same shit that Richie found out about Rob, the other ones. What
was those guys' name? The Butthole guys. I think they got a small. I think they were gonna be on the network with them, but they found out what happened and didn't go with them. I don't know if that's true or not.
I don't think ever were. They were never on. Were they?
No, but John had a background once on one of his shows. It had graphics of all his shows, and then Butthole was in the graphic. So,
are you sure it said Bud? I mean, sure it was in the graphic. Sure it was the graphic picture of a butthole.
You guys want to do another 10, 15-minute one? It might be shorter.
What is it?
Just to bank it. It's just the time when he talks about Conan after Conan got slapped.
Yeah, go.
All right, everyone. Thank you for watching. Listen, if you enjoyed this, hit that subscribe button. We need to get to 100 so I can make a custom URL so I don't have to tweet out this shitty link. Subscribe.
And I think we all have Amazon wish lists too. So
I don't.
I like stuff.
Yeah.
You don't, or you do?
No, I have a private one. I don't have a public one.
Well, if it's private, how can anyone buy you anything?
I don't want anyone to buy me anything.
Why not?
No.
Do you have a problem accepting presents, Mike? Is this like a emotional issue? Like,
my present is for people to comment on this video and tell us how much you enjoyed it.
there you go.
Well, my
Comments are not turned off. We don't turn comments off like some other people do. We don't hide the likes and dislikes. Everything. We are so transparent.
Yes, the only trans thing we are. But I also, my present is go to my Amazon wish list and buy me Christmas films for December because the Liberals are taking them all off TV.
Bastards.